Donald Trump called the 2015 Iranian nuclear agreement the worst deal ever negotiated and withdrew the United States from it in 2018. His maximum pressure policy failed to bring Iran to the negotiating table, pushing Tehran to accelerate its nuclear work in retaliation.
People of this nation have spoken.
US President Joe Biden, however, wants to rejoin the agreement and has already held several rounds of indirect talks with Tehran, but there has been no breakthrough so far, and the so-called maximum pressure lingers on. Iran's economy has for years borne that brunt of the pressure. The sanctions have inflicted the most damage in the country's crucial oil revenues. Estimates suggest Iran's crude exports dropped from about 2.8 million barrels per day in 2018 to as low as 200,000 barrels a day a year later. The exports have now rebounded from the record lowest levels of 2 years ago. However, they are not expected to recover to their pre-sanctions highs unless the restrictions on oil and banking sector are eased.
The possible failure of talks cannot prevent Iran from selling its oil. Iran is selling oil now and continue to sell oil even at the height of the Trump administration's maximum pressure policy. Well, the sanctions are creating problems for repatriating the money, but it doesn't mean Iran cannot go on with its energy sales.
The Iranian currency has been steadily losing value over the last 3 years. It now stands at 290,000 rials per dollar, an 8-fold depreciation from 3 years ago. One study suggests the number of Iranians living below the poverty line has tripled in the last 3 years. Iran's new government says it's willing to rejoin the Vienna talks in good faith and will spare no effort in the diplomatic front. For ordinary Iranians, the lifting of sanctions will provide a much-needed reprieve from the hardships of the last few years, but not everyone is convinced it will happen.
I believe the situation will not change. I try to be hopeful, but then I don't think things will change.
The economic situation will not improve, and it will even get worse.
I hope the sanctions are removed, but even if that doesn't happen, we shouldn't get disappointed. We should firmly move on.
Personally, I'm optimistic. I believe that, God willing, the economic situation will turn to Iran's favor.
Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi insists he will not tie his economic policies to the outcome of negotiations in Vienna. He says he plans to fix the economy by fighting corruption at home and by further promoting trade ties with other countries in the region. But the current restrictions are some of the strongest sanctions in history, and a relief from them would lift a huge burden off Iran's battered economy. Reza Hatami, TRT World, Tehran.